Hi, this is Suzanne in Ohio. I have a little project share today. I have three new little journal collections, and this is set number 3, as you can see. I'll show you the other two also. But this is a collection of 4 main items with several small items inside. And I'm calling these All About Roses. My first intention was to make these fabric roses and put them, scan them to make some paper that will coordinate with the journals. So I did that, and I'll be making another video today about just how I made that paper. But you'll see some of it inside this journal. So let's go through these items, and I'll just show you some of the detail of them. Let me bring it down here just a little bit. Okay, so the main journal is a file folder, coffee dyed, and it has several elements to it. So the front cover is actually a print of some of my roses and lace, and I did a whole series. I showcased the rose clusters with different things on the page. This is ink dyed lace, and then I did music sheets and other things like that. But this little fabric cover is made out of some of my dyed lace and some scraps, and it's put on the spine very loosely. That way you could snip these and take it off if you didn't want it there, you wanted to use it for something else. I thought it would be nice also to just use the wrap, I called that the wrap, to bundle up some of these other little items. So the first page, or the wrap, opens up, and it's stitched with a little pocket on the inside and the back side too, the back flap. And again, here's some of that paper. I just love the way it came out. It looks so real just to look at it. You can see all the fibers and shreds and everything. And then later today I'll be putting up a video how to make the actual roses themselves, if anybody's interested. So you open this up, and this one, they all have a flap, but some of them the flap is in the back, and this one the flap is in the front. So here's another piece of the rose print, and it's just a loose flap that gives you almost like a tuck spot, and then a little tiny tuck spot corner here with a piece of ephemera. And when I said it has extra items in it, it does. It has a lot. Here's a small little booklet, and it opens up, and it's like a file folder with a flap also. Writing space here, piece of ephemera in here in this pocket, and you could always add extra pages to it. But as usual, this thing got so full, I quit adding anything more than you'll see here. Other than I do have a few items to send along with it, which I will show you, so that you can do more decorating or decorate all these extra booklets. So here's an embossed coffee stained envelope. Didn't put anything in it, put 2 pieces of ephemera here. And this is a vintage poem back here that is named Roses and Thorns. So it's an amateur poem, but an original, a copy of an original. So that's one piece of ephemera. Here's one of the little journaling cards that I made with some of the roses. A little cluster of white rosebuds right there. And just printed on the back with another one of my images. And that closes up in the front. Now here starts the pages. An open flap, tuck spot. And I'll tell you more about these little snippet strips. It's a combination of a rose print, lace, and coffee stained tracing paper. Okay, so this is some of my polymer dyed paper in a light pink shade, rose color. Very beautiful. All the graining and the texturizing on it is lovely. So here's one of those double flip cards, and you can hang it over the edge of a page or do whatever you want with it. And little writing space, tuck spot, oh, just all kinds of goodies. And this one I left plain so you could add to it. Vintage envelope print and a pocket. This is some of my stenciling I did, and lace clusters, which I copied off as background pages. So that goes right there. In here is an envelope. You'll see the other side of it as well. A journaling card in there, a tag here, journaling card there. And on this side, in this little tuck, I made a little window pocket kind of thingy. And she pulls out, and she's got writing spot on here, as well as opens up for writing right there. I'll put that back later. Tuck spot here. Some more of my printed roses. Poetry. I have a book called Our Forgotten Graces. And so if I split the page right down the middle, then you get entire poems on each side. And some of them were just really endearing. I had to put that in there. This is a collage page I made. Everybody's making them. And I really liked how it turned out, so I put it in here as a leaflet, as well as this page, or this side too. I double-side printed it. And plenty of writing spots. Faux made stamp. Little piece of ephemera, calling card. Again, writing spot. And this side made a tuck spot on top of that lace print and a little journaling card. Another faux stamp. I chose those because they had roses on them. And journaling card. You can make a tag out of it or whatever you'd want to do. The other side of the poem. Collage sheet that I made with coffee stained paper scraps and lace snippets. Same here. And this tuck spot, or stop spot I call them, I made a whole series of coffee dyed prints to cut them out. You can either use them as a foundation and further enhance them, or you can just use them as is. I had to stop because there was just too many things that I could have continued to embellish, but the journal's really full as is. A little journaling card and some ephemera and writing spot on the inside, and that old music sheet front. Oh, it's so pretty. I see a lot of people using it. It's called Birdie Darling, and I just print it out in all different sizes and use it where it's appropriate. Here's the other side of that ink envelope that's sewn right in the spine. And there's a beautiful tag. This envelope does open, and then writing spot on that side. I'll put that back in a little bit. All these little journaling cards are ones that I have made with fabric snippets. And they have lines. I printed lines, I think ledger lines on the back, just to give you something to write on. You can use it for that, or you can further enhance it and do something else with it. So on this side, another card pulls out for writing. Coffee dyed. And an envelope fully clustered. And then another corner tuck with a piece of stencil paper. Oh, that's an envelope, yeah. So I used the stencil paper to make an envelope. You can put in it something, hidden secrets. I love hidden secrets. And here's the back flap and more of that polymer dyed paper. Oh, it's so beautiful. It feels so wonderful. And I think this pink one even had a little bit of mica in it. So when you hold it a certain way, it kind of glimmers. Okay, a large card out of an Etsy print. I hate to say whose it is. I'll get it wrong. That's a tuck spot, by the way. And then a large card again. Call it a tag or whatever. And then a small booklet with collage paper on the outside and a lot of found papers on the inside. Some of my prints of my handmade paper, or hand scanned, I guess you would call it. Ink stained paper, more polymer paper, just whatever. They're just really, it's really just a lot of blank sheets, almost blank sheets for you to decorate because I'm sending some things along with it. Now the back of the booklet is plain. It just has the other side of the rose print on it. And this one I was pairing up with this um, ink stained lace. I just love that stuff. Someday I'll do a video on how I did that lace. It turned out better than I even anticipated when I started out, and I just use it all the time, the snippets of it. And because I sprayed it with, here you can see it here, because I sprayed it with different colors of ink, it just variegates right into one shade after the next. So I just love that. It was one of them happy accidents. So again, this is set number 3. This one has the light pink rose on the front and the light pink rose on the wrap. So these were so fun to make. I love slow stitching and hand stitching, and I just sat down one day to see what I could do. Had no idea how they would turn out, but I am just really pleased with them. So the center of it, just to tell you quick, in case you don't go to the other video and watch it, you make the center of it just exactly like you would if you were folding a ribbon rose. Now, if you don't know how to make a ribbon rose, you will have to go to my other video and see that. And then you put a loose layer around that, and then on these larger roses, I cut out these petals individually, stitched them down first, and then scrunched and manipulated that rose and then stitched it into place. So it's easier than it sounds, and it was something I could do while I was sitting on the couch watching a lot of TV or probably YouTube videos. Okay, so that's the first item in the kit, and this one is the second item, and this is just one of my heart's desires. I love Tussie Mussies, and I've made them in many styles over the years, and that little bow came untied. Let me see if I can tie it back again. Tussie Mussies have a really ancient history, and in the beginning it was all about the language of flowers. So I made a miniature Tussie Mussie here. I am going to bring you down much closer so you can see this little thing. And so I'll show you how I make that in another video. But it's three-dimensional with different elements, and I put a little tag here so if you want to write something on it. But the Tussie Mussie is mounted onto a little book. So these are found paper, coffee stain papers, little scraps and things I had laying on my desk. So that makes a wonderful addition, goes right along with the journal. So that's made to go with the set, and then each set has a little fabric stuffy heart, and because these colors went well, this lame here is gold, and so I put glass beads on it, gold and white and cream color, and then stitch that little rosebud on there. It's just something cute. You could also stitch a pocket on the back of it, which I did not, but this is very vintage linen, very old. And some of this is old, some of it's newer lace, but it all goes well together. Okay, and then the other item is this little file folder booklet. There's one of these with each of the sets. This one had a bright pink rose printed on the fabric there, and then a little tuck spot under that music with that beautiful butterfly print. And so when you open it up, it's a file folder, basically. Oh, if I can see, I need to back out just a little bit. It's basically a file folder, and it is made out of a file folder, but I folded it up as if it's a small folio kind of thing. Each side has a pocket. And so on this side is another little, well, there's a journaling tag. And then this little envelope opens up and it forms its own little folio kind of thing. And I put it back together in such a way that you've got a pocket here, and then there's a pocket actually behind that. So there's 1, 2, and then 3. So on each side, 1, 2, and then that one. So that gives you some little spaces for tiny little pretty things. And then the back is plain because I wanted to secure this tie, and I thought you might glue it down in one of the pages. So I just left it like that. So in here, done with Traveler's Notebook style elastic, I put some papers. And here's a print of the rose, the light pink rose. I don't know if it's exactly the same one. No, it's a different one that's on the binder. But they're printed, some are plain, some are double-sided. There's my lace cluster print. It's very pretty in real life. Stencil in a rose shade. And some more collage background sheets. And these papers come along with it so that you can use those to continue making things for the journal. And then here's the last and final little booklet. This one has a print of all the rosebuds, and then it's full of found papers. They're interesting enough by themselves, but they're begging to be embellished. So that is up to you with the things that I'm going to send with the journals. So let me show you that. Let me think where I put that stack. You know, isn't that just the way it always is? Give me a second to look around. Okay, I found it. I have so much stuff around this computer desk. So I'll move these over and I'll just show you what else I'm sending along with these journals so that you can do your own type of thing. They'll have a piece of this rose-colored polymer dyed paper, and the nice thing about it is it's modeled on the back side lighter if you want to use that for the writing side, and then embellish the front. And you can see this was out of the same batch of papers, but look how different they turned out, because everything depends on your paper and how much it's absorbing and how it's laying on the parchment. And this was laying on the parchment, which created all these little stringy puddles. Very beautiful to use in art projects. Another thing I'm sending, each one is a strip. These little beautiful edge strips or snippet strips or whatever you want to call them, they turned out just so pretty. They're so delicate to touch. It's a nice, I think maybe an antique papery rose print here in the background, but it didn't end up showing, so I might as well have not used it. Could have used something else. But on top of that, I gathered tracing paper, coffee dyed tracing paper, and lace, and then just stitched it along. So you can cut it anywhere you want and glue it on edges, but they just have that delicate little shabby feel to them, and you can use them anywhere that you want in the journal. So each one gets one strip, one piece of paper, and then I'm including a page of these 1835 letters out of that book I bought. If you saw my other video, these are actual copies, historical copies of letters from 1835. Very interesting read, but the old handwriting, some are written by his children, and I think it was called the Book of Letters by Alfred. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but you can see plainly here the date is 1835, November 15th. And she writes, Dear Mother. So, it's just so interesting, and you can grunge these up, fold them up. You can use them, tear them as snippets for collage or whatever you want. So there'll be one of those letters in each one of the kits. And then there's, I intended to include this in the journal, but I'm telling you, it just got so full, I didn't want to do it. But this is medieval mirage print, and I printed it on heavier paper, and I lined the inside with a book of Shakespeare. So you can use that and make another little booklet or a card or a pocket or anything you want to turn it into. And then some of these background, I call them base backgrounds for collaging. And I'm going to show you, and well, I'll show you right now what I've been doing with those so you can get an idea. I made a whole bunch of things like this and then just laid them down on my scanner and scanned them. And then I print them off in different sizes to use for backgrounds. That way the background already has some interest on it, or it's not that valuable. You can cover it up if you don't want to see it. So, oh, that's wrong. Here's a couple of these cards, and you can see it's probably the same print or thereabouts. It would have gone like that. Now, I printed these off light on purpose because I wanted them to disappear into the background. These I printed brighter, and it makes a beautiful little card. This envelope does open. These flowers, I found a wonderful flower illustration book at my thrift store, and I think I got about 200, if not more. Beautiful die cut, or they look like die cuts after you fussy cut them. And same with the birds. I cut birds out of a bird book. And so as of right now, that's a little journaling card, and I'll probably go in a spring journal. And just to show you, here's another one. I love that starling. He came out of a book. I've never seen a starling look so cute, because in real life, they're not. I love all birds, but I can't say he's the most handsome. So I just collaged all this stuff on top of that basic print, and one more of a cedar waxwing, and just these elements. I was just playing around. Some happy accidents happen, I think, late at night when you're too tired to do any major big project. Anyways, you get one of these bases, and then you'll get several of these little, these are my, I called them corner tuck spots, pockets, whatever you want to. They're made out of real fabric and lace snippets, and I scanned them all, and I print them out in whatever size and color that I need for whatever journal I'm making. So you get some of these cards, some of these fabric things, and here's some of these coffee stenciled kind of things. You can use them. You can, like I said, you can start gluing butterflies or anything on top of them and use them however you want, or just use them as journal cards. So there's quite a few of those. There'll be several with each journal. So I'll move that out of the way. And then one more type of card. This was a full page print of all the rose clusters that I had made. And I printed this off on a heavier photo mat, and then I'll send one of those with each journal. And then here's the prints on, this is not cardstock, but it's not regular printer paper either. It's a little bit heavier. It's just those backgrounds where I added feathers to them and then laid them down on the scanner and scanned them. In real life, they're just really pretty. So you can do whatever you want with those. And then the same concept I did with butterflies. Now, I don't know where all these butterflies came from. They could have came from Tracy Fox, or they could have come from the public domain, because I download lots of things from the public domain. And so I had fussy cut them out and just laid them on top of these bases and then printed them off. Now these are printed on standard print. I didn't want to print them too bright in case somebody didn't like them, but you can rip them apart and tear them up, or feel free to use them for clusters or whatever you want to do, collaging. So that's it. And then I'm sending one full-size sheet of the rose prints. So here's light pink, dark pink on that one, and then here was the bright red ones. And then this one has a little bud on it, 2 roses and a bud. And you can see they just printed off so beautiful. When you look right at them, I don't know how my camera's picking them up, but when you really just look right at them, they're stunning. They just printed off so pretty. And then here's one with medium pink. And this is how I did the pages. And it was a lot of fun. It keeps me creative, and it gives me something I don't have to worry about a copyright or anything like that. So I can use them however I want, and you feel free to use them however you want. So I laid all this stuff. This just happened to be a coffee osmosis kind of process that I did with a plastic doily. It was a beautiful background. So I just laid lace and the clusters on top of that and photocopied that. Same with that one, and I guess same with that one. I had other backgrounds, but that's the one I used here. So I have 3 sets of these, each one again with 4 major pieces, and I just want to show you, now that was set number 3, and then I just want to show you quickly the others, mainly for my Etsy customers that need to come here and look at them, and for my own records. So this will be one with the white on here. It'll tell me in a second. This is set number 2. Okay, so the wrap on this one has a beautiful big white rose with 1 bud, and that's what the back side of it looks like. The actual cover has a white rose on the front, nothing on the back. That's a print. And then again, these little pockets. So that is set number 2. And virtually everything in it is almost exactly the same, maybe just in slightly different colors. So I'm not going to make you wait and look through all that. I'll just show you the fronts of the elements so you can see that they are slightly different, in case you're interested in one set more than the other. So again, what I'm showing right now is set number 2. Has a little pocket on the front. And see, again, almost exactly the same. So let me show you the Tussie Mussy for that one. Is right there. Each one has a little different flowers in it because I didn't have duplicates of the prints. But there's a multi-rose and a multi-floral rose with rose hips. And then, again, the little book. So that's 1, 2, 3, and here's the little heart that goes along with that one. Bright pink rosebud on that. Okay, that's set number 2. And again, the white rose on the front. So I'll have to put these things back in the right place before I get them mixed up. And then one more set. which will be set number 1. Hope all the pieces are in here. I had them out the other day showing them to a friend, so. But I have them on my Etsy site so I can put them back where they belong. Okay, this would be set number 1. So the front of the wrap has a bright, deep rose color on it, and it's mounted on some lace cluster greens and pinks. Always beautiful combination. So, little pocket here, and the rose print there. And then when you open it, you've got that. And then, let me get my brain organized here. See if there's nothing different in here. Oh, here's the booklet for that one. Slightly different on the front. Little piece of ephemera in that pocket. And plenty of roses there. They just happened to be placed so that they were on the back. And the Tussie Mussy. So now I've got quite the mess sitting here on my lap. And I can't find the other heart right this minute. I can tell you it was light green, and I must have showed it to that lady and not put it back. Anyways, you can see it on my Etsy site. So listen, I appreciate you watching. Thank you for all the YouTubers that share their ideas and always give me a new jump off point. And keep watching because I'll be loading up some more small short videos that talk about how to make the roses and the lace cluster that I laid them on, and then how I laid them down and scanned them. And I'll be showing you several more of my actual homemade scanned papers. And hopefully it can give you an idea of something you can do. And I've said before, there are fabulous, absolutely fabulous beyond words, wonderful papers out there from the, excuse me, from the Etsy sellers. But sometimes you just want something maybe of your own, or you just want to be creative that day. So that's what happened to me. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'll put a link to my YouTube channel in case you want to go there and look at some of these sets, and either to purchase or to get some ideas of your own. Thanks for watching, and thanks again for everybody who shares their ideas. Bye-bye.